It's time for the Daily Planet podcast show. So sit back, relax, and give us a go. Scott and Matt and maybe a guest have undertaken an epic pod quest. We're gonna ramble on about movies and books and television and directors and film festivals and this really long list of stuff that I know nothing about, but they gave it to me and they really wanted me to read through it. And that's all I can really say about it, but it's gonna be great. Okay, start the show.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Planet podcast, your weekly podcast for all things movies, TV, books, and anything else you feel like we feel like talking about. My name is Scott Daly. I am your host, and I am joined this week by my co-host and person who has internet again at last, Matt Freeman. How's it going, Matt?
That's right. It's wonderful to be here in my full high bandwidth glory.
Yeah, for anyone that hasn't noticed somehow, for the last, what was it, a month and a half almost, Matt?
Yeah, more like 2, I guess. Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 months, Matt's been without internet. So every time he's appeared on this podcast or any of the podcasts we do, he's been via phone Skype, which isn't the best, but good enough, good enough.
Yeah, not the best microphone, not the best connectivity, but I guess it works.
It does, and it's fixed now. So we're here now, and now that we have internet, we're looking forward, Matt. We're looking to the future, and we're here to talk about 2018 in the world of movies. This is our 2018 movie preview episode. We've pulled some of the big movies from this year. If you've never listened to this, we do this once a year, but if you've never listened to this before, we really only pull the big, wide release blockbuster movies. There's many limited release films that are not going to be covered. The problem with those movies is, first of all, it's limited release, so you never know when it's going to be out where. Also, those movies settle on release dates a lot later than a lot of these movies do. Like, we know that Venom is coming out October 5th. Even though we haven't seen anything of it. But these independent, smaller films, we have no idea when they're going to actually get picked up, distributed, when they're coming out. So we focus on the big blockbusters in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like hundreds of independent movies coming out. We can't really cover all of them anyway, even if we wanted to. Yeah.
As much as I really want, one of my goals for this year is to spotlight smaller movies more. And I think that's going to be something I'm going to try to do throughout the year on this podcast. But for this one, I can't really do that. But it's going to be good. I like this. We talk about the movie. If there's a trailer that exists for it, we talk about what we thought of the trailer and if we're like in or out on the movie, if we're sold on the premise of the movie or if we're out. So I think it's going to be a good discussion, Matt. I'm happy to have you here. I thought about bringing Michael on for this one, but Michael doesn't really like movies, so...
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, Michael was on our fall preview episode, and he did a good job. It's nothing against him, but he just a lot of the I Inside Baseball. I sent a list of all the movies that are coming out this year, all the big ones, to everyone that is normally a guest on this podcast to let them know that here are the movies that I think we're going to try to do episodes on. If you are interested, sign up next to that movie. I think there were 20 on that list, and Michael put his name next to 3. So, and one of them he and I had already agreed to talk about next week anyway. So, yeah, Michael, these big blockbuster movies are not what Michael goes to the movie for. So,
yeah, and honestly, it's hard not to be cynical when you're just going by the trailer. Like, I'm pretty sure last year when it was just the trailer, I was pretty down on Blade Runner 2049 because. I mean, a trailer cannot really convey what the movie's really going to be and how it's going to be unique. So I'm going to try not to get bogged down in negativity personally, but when you're just looking at the trailer and you don't know very much about the movie, it's very easy to come to the wrong conclusion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I really liked the Jumanji sequel, and that trailer really did not look good, and it turned out to be really good. So yeah, you never know. And also, another thing that kind of triggers the cynical person inside me is when you put all these movies down on a list and you see just how many of them are sequels or reboots or reimagining or whatever, versus how many are actual just original IP. It's kind of disheartening.
Yeah. Another thing you notice when you're going through a bunch of trailers in a row is this apparent tendency they have now to put a small trailer before the trailer.
Yeah.
The trailer for the trailer you're about to watch.
Yeah.
Which really, like, the first time I noticed it, I was like, that's an odd quirk. And then I noticed it on like 3 more trailers, and I was like, this is driving me insane. Like, why would you do it this way?
I think the reasoning is for the thumbnail. Like, so many websites have like the thumbnail that'll play the first 5 seconds or something. So it's just a bunch of autoplay without noise, flashes of the film is what I understand the reason for that to be. I don't know.
Okay, that could be it. It does make the first couple of seconds of watching the trailer completely chaotic and confusing.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like. I completely agree with you. I don't like it at all. But it seems like it's here to stay.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right, so we are going to do that. I think we've got like 30 something movies to cover, so we're going to need to move quickly here to cover them all. But I wanted to go over some news first.
This is Daily Planet News. I don't like that.
One of the big things, Matt, I wanted to talk about news-wise is the Oscars and the award show.
Right.
We are in award show season. We are in awards. With the night we were recording this, the SAG Awards just happened, and 3 billboards, one for Best Ensemble on the SAG Awards. So that's looking to be one of the Oscar favorites. The Oscar nominations themselves are coming out Tuesday morning. That's the January 23rd in the morning. And then I think the Oscars are not until March this year. I think it's March 4th. It's the first weekend in March. But one of the big things that I want to talk to you about, because I love this movie, is The Shape of Water picked up the Producers Guild Awards, which were yesterday, the Outstanding Motion Picture Award last night. It also won the Critics' Choice Best Picture Award. So that's 2 in a row for The Shape of Water. And it looks like, surprisingly, it's going to be a favorite to win the Academy Award Best Picture. That's Guillermo del Toro's genre monster love story movie. You would not think that would be a Oscar favorite.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I still haven't seen it, but that is very surprising. I mean, Guillermo del Toro has not won. Excuse me. Has not won that many awards, has he, for in the Oscars?
I don't think he's won an Oscar, no. He got the Golden Globe this year for directing on this film, but I don't think I think he's been nominated for some films, but no, I don't think he's won. Okay,
well, good for him. I mean, that's pretty shocking, I guess. But I, on the other hand, I've heard good things about the movie, so
yeah. I think I called it my favorite movie of the year, so I'm very happy about this. So. We'll see. I mean, the 3 billboards winning the ensemble also gives it a lot of points. And I think the reason why this is such a big deal, I think, is the Producers Guild, the PGA Awards, have been pretty spot on in predicting the Best Picture winner, except for the last 2 years. They got both the last 2 years wrong. But then again, the Oscars got Best Picture wrong live on the show, too. So who knows?
I think once it comes down to the wire, we'll see kind of like what the other runners up are.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of guess like, okay, well, the Academy does tend to prefer X, Y, and Z in their movies, and if some of those have certain attributes that Shape of Water doesn't have, then we can start saying, yeah, maybe it won't get the vote.
Yeah, and I think 3 billboards is shaping up to be like the villain movie of this year. Every year there's a narrative that this is the undeserving movie, and that seems to be what's been labeled 3 billboards now, because it is a very controversial movie. There are some very strong opinions about that the movie's racist and insensitive, and I don't want to get into all that, but it falls nicely into that narrative villain. So we'll see how well it does. Picking up the ensemble award is pretty big. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. The next news item I had is the Sundance Film Festival is happening right now as we talk. I'm not there, obviously. Neither are you. One day, Matt. One day, one of us is going to get to go to this festival. I've always wanted to go, but there's a bunch of news coming out right now about all these movies that we're probably not going to be able to see for 6 to 12 months. But one I wanted to highlight myself because I like this person so much is comedian Bo Burnham who started on YouTube doing comedy videos on YouTube, then became a stand-up comedian. Very successful, very good stand-up in my opinion. And now he's directed and written a movie called 8th Grade. And it's about a 8th grade girl in the last week of middle school dealing with stuff and dealing with the transition to high school. It's so crazy because you would not think a silly, goofy stand-up comedian like Bo Burnham would be the best to tackle what being a preteen girl would look like. But the Sundance reviews of this thing are extremely positive. It's overwhelmingly rated well, and it makes me happy because I like this guy a lot. So,
yeah, that sounds like a fun type of movie, just based on this minor amount of information you've described to me.
Yeah, and Bo Burnham, if you have not followed his comedy before, I think has got a couple of his specials are up on Netflix to check them out. It's very he does singing, songwriting type comedy. It's very good. It's very good. I like him a lot.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. I like watching comedy on whatever platform.
Yeah. All right, last bit of news: the Quentin Tarantino update. Matt, we always have to do these. Leonardo DiCaprio officially on Quentin's 9th movie, which does not have a title yet. Let's call it 9th movie.
All right.
We know it deals with an aging TV star and his stuntman friend attempting to make it big in the movie business, and it's set in the backdrop of the Manson family murders of the 1960s. And we finally know a little bit more about who Leo is playing. He is playing the aging TV star, an actor who had his own Western show called Bounty Law, and he attempted to transition to movies after that show. It didn't work. And now he's struggling to get back into the movie business in 1969, and it's supposed to be Pulp Fiction-esque. It's being described as the tapestry of Los Angeles during the summer of the Manson murders, which is what Deadline said. So this is, of course, exciting because it's Quentin Tarantino. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is actually a really good actor, and I think Quentin uses him well. So I'm into this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it hardly matters what it's about. If Quentin Tarantino is doing it, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah, and I think that's all we know as far as casting at this point. It's just Leo. So there'll be more casting news as that comes out, and we will share it here. But that's all we know so far.
This is not the Star Trek movie that Quentin Tarantino is going to be making, I assume.
No, I still don't believe that's happening at all. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had for news this week. There's going to be a bunch of stuff coming within the next week or so, I'm sure, as more stuff comes out of Sundance, as we gear up for the Oscars, and we're going to try to cover as much of that as we can here on the podcast. But that's it for this week. Let's move into the preview. Let's talk about 2018 and see what it has in store for us at the movies, Matt.
All right. That sounds great.
So obviously it is the 21st of January right now, so 2018 is already in full swing, but also it's January, so not a whole lot going on in January. So we're just going to start from next Friday, the 26th, and work our way on from there, because next Friday, January 26th, The Maze Runner: The Death Cure comes out. This movie is directed by Wes Ball, who directed the other two movies. It's based on the novel series by James Dashner, and starring all the people that from the last two. This is the third one, I think. But Walter Goggins has a new character in this one. And this is the movie, Matt, that was originally supposed to come out last year, but Dylan O'Brien, the star, was seriously hurt during an on-set stunt, and they shut down production for a year to allow him time to recover. So the movie's finally coming out now. What did you think of the trailer? Have you seen the other two movies, and what did you think of the trailer?
I watched the first of the other movies. I genuinely don't remember what my overall impression was. I remember liking the first hour or so, and then I feel like the way it wrapped up left me fairly cold. And then I never watched the second one. And then as for the trailer, it's a strange trailer because it has this element where it's actually a lot of scenes from the first movie, and then there's other scenes that are superimposed on the walls of the scenes. So it's clearly some kind of trilogy-centric trailer, basically, where it's taking advantage of the fact that it's a trilogy and trying to remind you that, oh,
Yes.
remember the Maze Runner? Remember how good that movie was? Let's look at these images, and now we're gonna segue you into these new ideas. That's really my main takeaway. I can't even tell if I want to watch it or not, honestly.
My guess is the reason that's the marketing campaign is because this is a year late, and they're really trying to remind people, hey, you liked these movies. I know they've been gone for longer than we expected, but you liked them. That's probably what the marketing campaign is really pushing for. And I really liked the Maze Runner, the first one. It is very much a standard YA fiction type story. But I think it's done really well. I thought the first one was done really well. The second one, The Scorch Trials, I know I watched this movie. I do not remember any of it other than it has Aidan Gillen in it, who plays Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. I know he's in this movie. I know he is. I don't remember anything that happened at all.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's not promising.
No, it's not. But I also don't remember hating it. Like, I don't think it was as good as the first one, but this is the movie Michael and I are going to be reviewing for the podcast next week, because Michael quite enjoys these as well. So I'm going to have to go back before I see this movie next weekend and watch the other two, I guess, because I don't remember what happened in the second one. But yeah, I'm into this, I guess.
Kind of reminds me of the first iteration of the book club when we did Wool, and it has this like dystopian YA thing going on, and just generally this was true of Wool, and I think this is true of the general premise of these types of stories, is like it's really cool as long as what's going on in the background is mysterious, and then as soon as we get to an explanation of what's going on in the background, it's usually pretty lame, and you kind of wish that it had just been left in the background.
Yeah.
But then the entire like last two movies end up being, no, now we have to go fight the thing in the background that was lame and boring and formulaic. That's my general sense anyway.
I think that's fair, and I think that's why the Maze Runner itself worked so well, because it's like the concept of this film is a bunch of kids find themselves stuck at the center of a maze, and they have to get out of it, and that's a really cool concept. And like, I like the detail of it, how they have runners, and like it's kind of like Lord of the Flies mixed with YA science fiction, and I thought it was well done. And I think I agree that the more you learn, the less well done it is. But you have to learn stuff eventually, Matt. You need reveals.
So never mind.
But that is The Maze Runner: The Death Cure, coming out next Friday, the 26th. Moving on to February. First up on February 2nd, Matt, we have Winchester. This is a horror film directed and written by the Spierig brothers, who also made Jigsaw last year, which was not a good movie. The plot of this movie is Sarah Winchester, whose husband William and their child died suddenly, is adamant she is cursed and begins building the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, upon advisement from a medium. I think this is based on a true story, is what it's sold as. It stars Helen Mirren as Sarah Winchester, and Jason Clarke is in it as well. The only reason I brought this up, because I think this movie looks really bad, and I don't understand why Helen Mirren is in it. I'm very confused, and I wanted your opinion.
I know I started this out saying I was going to try not to be overly negative, but you can kind of tell from the trailer that this is going to be a bad movie just from like the way it looks. And I know you know what I mean. Like, it just for one thing, it's a ghost movie, but it shows the ghosts way too much, even in the trailer.
It does, yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, I'm no longer scared, I guess. There's only one mildly scary thing in the whole trailer, actually, and a lot of showing the ghosts in ways that wasn't scary. So, yeah, that's enough.
It's February. It's a February horror film. They're usually not. I still don't understand. Like, was it a really solid script, Helen Mirren? Like, what are you doing?
Maybe she just really thinks the idea of the Winchester Mystery House is really awesome and has wanted to do a movie about it her whole life.
I guess that could be true. It is very cool, I will say, that we have a wide release horror film starring a older woman, which is not something you see very often at all. So that's kind of cool.
It's assuming it's really starring her and it's not actually starring Jason Clarke.
That's true.
can't really tell from the trailer.
Yeah, you're probably right. Man, trying not to be cynical here, but you're probably right. All right, so that's Winchester coming out February 2nd. I think we're both kind of out on that one.
Yeah.
All right. February 9th, Peter Rabbit.
Kind of front-loaded this list, didn't you, Scott?
Yeah. This is written and directed by Will Gluck, who made Easy A, which is a movie I quite liked. It's based loosely on the story by Beatrix Potter. And James Corden plays Peter Rabbit. Daisy Ridley plays a rabbit. Margot Robbie plays a rabbit. Domhnall Gleeson and Rose Byrne play humans. And Sam Neill is in it, but he's not in the trailer. So I don't know what his role in this movie actually is. But yeah, what'd you think of Peter Rabbit, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy General Hux trying to kill rabbits. I mean, it honestly, it looks like a decent kids movie. Like, if you're viewing it as a kids movie, it's probably fine.
Yeah, that's true. I like seeing Domhnall Gleeson have success. He's in so many movies. I feel like he's in like 5 movies a year these days, and they're a mix of good and bad. And it probably wasn't too much work for him to show up for this one and get some money. But yeah, I think it's a harmless kids movie that's not gonna do anything great, but is probably pretty inoffensive as well.
Yeah, it did depress me that they've just completely given up on using real animal actors and are just completely using CGI for everything now.
Yeah.
It's disheartening, you know.
No more Homeward Bound.
Yeah, no more Babe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a new age.
It is with James Corden playing a rabbit.
Yeah, all these out of work animal actors on the streets of LA.
Yeah. So would you call yourself in or out on this one? I really don't know.
I mean, you know, my odds of going to the theater for any given movie are quite low regardless, but given that it's kind of a kid's movie, the odds that I'll actually see it are moderately good. And the question is, will it be the type of kid's movie where I'm like laughing along with it, or is it one that I grudgingly took the kids to because it was a kid's movie?
I'm going to say the latter, and I'm going to say I'm out because I don't see myself going to see this movie. Because I don't have kids, so I see a lot of kids' movies that look good, but this is not it.
Yeah, like I watched the Lego movie, and you know, any of the Lego movies are fantastically fun for an adult, and they're technically for kids, but nobody cares.
Yeah, agree. All right, so that's Peter Rabbit. Now the 9th of February. I guess if you have kids, maybe you'll go see it. It seems like the type of movie that's going to make a lot of money, in my opinion. I think a lot of kids are going to turn out for that.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
All right. So February 15th is Black Panther, the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's written and directed by Ryan Coogler, who also did Creed, a movie that I quite like. It's starring everyone: Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Denai Guerrera, Martin Freeman, Daniel Kaluuya, Latita Wright, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, and Andy Serkis are in this movie. What did you think? I think we've talked about this movie before, but what did you think of the trailer? Are you in on the latest MCU film?
Yeah, I think so. The trailer it's kind of hard to tell what's going on in the trailer, which I don't actually see as a negative because I don't like trailers to tell me everything. I'm their MCU is working on me because I already kind of like the Black Panther character and want to see what his deal is, and I'm kind of intrigued by this whole what's it called, the civilization that he comes from, Wakanda,
yeah.
And kind of want to see what that is and how that's going to factor into the Marvel MCU. It seems obvious from the Infinity War trailer that it's going to be a big part of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this is kind of a just objectively interesting case study of how a lot of my interest actually, frankly, I don't like this trailer very much. But I'm already my interest in the movie is due to the goodwill that the MCU has built up, actually.
I think that's fair. I think you can't talk about this movie without talking about the cultural significance of it, though. It's the first black superhero headlining role. It's written and directed by a black man. The cast is like who's who amongst the black actors and actresses in Hollywood right now. And so this is a big deal. This is a big moment, and I think the movie is going to do very well. I don't remember the specifics, but I know that pre-sale tickets for this movie made a lot of money. A lot.
Okay.
I think they'd outsold Civil War in the pre-sale tickets. So I think movie is gonna do very, very well. Whether or not that means if it's good or not, I don't know. I think Ryan Coogler is a fantastic director. This movie seems to have a very unique sense of style that is very culturally African. It takes place in a made-up African country, and I think that's going to be really fascinating to see. And I think it's going to be good. So
yeah, I think I'm in on this one.
All right, cool. Me too. So that's Black Panther, February 15th, Valentine's Day. Perfect Valentine's Day movie. I've already bought my tickets.
Awesome.
All right. February 23rd comes Annihilation. This is written and directed by Alex Garland, who wrote 28 Days Later, Sunshine, Dread, and wrote and directed Ex Machina. Ex Machina was his directorial debut, and I think both of us quite liked that movie. It is based on the novel of the same name by Jeff Vandermeer, which you and I are actually going to be talking about this coming Friday. In our monthly Daily Planet Book Club, we're going to be talking about Annihilation. That's Friday the 26th, I believe. I really need to read that book, Matt.
I actually just finished it today.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and I don't think this is a spoiler to say that it's really clear that this movie is quite different from the book, actually, which is good, not because the book is bad, but because the book is the first book in a trilogy, and it would be weird if they made this movie as if it were, if they made this movie just the way the book is and didn't, try to kind of wrap things up better.
Yeah. So you and I are pretty in
yeah.
on Alex Garland. What did you think? What do you think of the trailer, though, separate from the book?
I mean, I was like immediately hooked by the trailer the first time I saw it, and was only more interested when I saw that it was Alex Garland. It's the perfect kind of sci-fi that is crack to me. So
yeah.
I honestly, I will be shocked if I don't love this movie just based on like everything it has going for it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Alex Garland is a very good writer, so I have complete faith in his ability to take this book that I haven't finished yet, but I will. Tomorrow is my goal, so I can start prepping for that show we have to do. But his ability to take this and adapt it into something that's thought-provoking but also tense, and looks like there's going to be some action scenes, but I have a feeling that the trailer is leaning more heavily into the action than the actual movie might. I think trailers tend to do that. I think there'll be a couple of action scenes, but I don't think it's going to be like throughout. But
yeah, I know I've seen different trailers that made it seem more like sci-fi horror. This is making it seem more sci-fi action.
Yeah.
And I think you're exactly right that my sense is that it probably is going to be more horror suspense with a few notes of action.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. Who knows?
Yeah, so Natalie Portman is starring in this one as the biologist who in the book does not have a name, but in the movie is named Lena. I think that's one of the big changes they're making. None of the characters in the book have names, and I think they're going to have to give them a little bit more. From the short part of the book that I've read, it seems like the changes that they're making for the movie are probably going to be necessary in order to work in that medium. I don't think the choices that are made in the book for good reason will really work. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely in on this one.
There's a lot of stuff in the book that is like by definition not visually sensible. And you can't really do that in a movie, so they just make a visual for it. Yeah,
that's Annihilation, February 23rd. I think, Matt, you and I will probably try to run and see that and then come back and do a podcast on it to kind of, especially since we're doing the book club, I think taking some time to really dive into this movie and talk about it would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. And that is it for February. We are moving out of the doldrums of January and February, although increasingly that's not true anymore. February used to be the garbage dump month, and it's not really anymore. So, I mean, they're putting Black Panther there now. Deadpool came out in February.
Yeah.
Peter Rabbit. Okay, bad example. All right. let's go into March. And on March 2nd, Red Sparrow is written by Justin Haythe, who wrote The Lone Ranger, and Revolutionary Road and A Cure for Wellness, and directed by Francis Lawrence, who also directed I Am Legend and the last 3 of the Hunger Games films, not the first one. So I liked the third one. This is based on a novel of the same name by Jason Matthews, who's an ex-CIA agent. It is about a Russian spy that falls for a CIA officer and considers becoming a double agent. That's the IMDb summary, at least. It's pretty simplified, I think. It stars Jennifer Lawrence and Joel Edgerton, and this looks basically, Matt, like Black Widow, the movie.
Yeah, right. Also Salt, basically.
Yeah, Salt, Atomic Blonde. Well, I mean, here's the thing that we're doing that I kind of feel bad about doing, but it's like, oh, female spy, so all those movies are the same, even though there's like 10,000 male spy movies. So I don't think it's really fair to lump all these movies together just because it's like, hey, a female-led movie about a spy.
Well, the comparison to Salt is that it's like literally a Russian like woman who's trained specifically to do this sort of specific infiltration thing. But yeah, I see what you're saying there. It's funny. I actually thought this trailer was really good, and I was in on this movie, and then you told me who it was written and directed by, and now I'm a little bit more lukewarm on it.
Well, you never know. I mean, like I said, like some of the, I picked the worst example of the thing they did and the best example of the thing they did in these examples. So I think people have ranges, and I don't know. I think the trailer is interesting. It's cut well. I'd expect it to hate Jennifer Lawrence's Russian accent, but I don't. So that's good. Yeah.
It was not distracting.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic for this one. I'm definitely going to go see it.
Yeah, we always give people a chance to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. Positivity. That's the name of our game here.
Yeah, unless they're Damon Lindelof.
Yeah, well, none of him on this list, Matt.
Yeah, good.
All right. March 9th is this is a big Disney movie, A Wrinkle in Time, written by Jennifer Lee, who also wrote Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Zootopia. I think she had co-writing credits on some of those. And it's directed by Ava DuVernay, who directed Selma and the documentary 13th that came out last year, starring Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, Michael Pena, Chris Pine, and Storm Reed as Meg Murray, who plays the girl. This is, of course, based off of the book by whose name I'm forgetting. Who wrote this book, Matt?
Madeline
L'Engle? Yeah.
L'Engle? Yeah, it's something French. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. What did you think of this trailer, Matt?
I'm not sure. I mean, I like the story. I know I liked the book when I was a kid. They're definitely... This is the problem. This is a weird answer, I guess, because this is the problem anytime they make a movie out of something from your childhood, is you probably had some firm impressions of what everything should look like, and so all of their visual choices will not ring true to you. Mm-hmm. But once you actually watch the movie, I think you absorb that as the new, like, okay, I can see it this way now. But basically just watching the trailer, I'm very conscious of like, oh, this isn't really the tone that I thought the book had. This isn't really the visual style that I would have gone with.
Yeah.
Now, all that being said, that's not making me think the movie's not going to be good. That's just like the things that are popping into my mind.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be pretty good because it's a good story and it seems like it's being adapted by a steady hand. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. I read this book too in 4th grade. I don't remember much of it at all. So I'm coming at it like I probably as I'm watching the movie, I'll be like, oh yeah. But I remember very little of this, and I think Ava DuVernay is such a talented director, and this thing looks very visually impressive. It's tough. Like, one of the things you mentioned tone, and one of the things that I think trailers need to do, but often don't, is convey what the tone of the film is. I think the tone of the movie often gets lost when you're trying to market it, and it feels like maybe that's what's going to happen here as well. I think the trailer is emphasizing some funny parts. But it's emphasizing some awe-inspiring parts. But I maybe it's because I was young, but I remember the book being scarier.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The book is like almost psychological, like existential horror. There's a lot of intensity throughout the whole thing. It's danger and intensity, and threatening her family members and putting her in really bad situations. And like you said, the movie is like very light. It's got Oprah and Zach Galifianakis in silly outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wonder if this is like part of the movie will be funny. This is a Disney movie for kids. Part of it will be awe-inspiring and adventurous, as it seems to be. But I wonder if they dive into that tone a little bit, that uncomfortable kind of scary-esque tone. I get the feeling that they will, and I trust everyone involved with this movie enough that they will make something good. So I'm definitely in on this one.
Yeah, I think so. Me too.
All right, cool. All right, we move on to March 16th, and we have Tomb Raider. This is the latest adaptation of a video game starring Alicia Vikander, Academy Award-winning Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, starring Dominic West from The Wire as her father, and Walter Goggins is back again. I think he's on this list like 5 times. And here's his second time he plays the villain. Also, Nick Frost is in this movie, but he hasn't appeared in any of the marketing, so I don't know what he's in at all. But this is directed by Roar Uthag, who is a Norwegian director who directed a movie called The Wave, which I saw at Fantastic Fest a couple years ago, which is surprisingly good. It's a disaster movie about some land moving in the fjords that creates this giant wave that wipes out a town in Norway. And it's like better than any American disaster film I've seen. It's really good. So that's like the only reason I'm looking forward to this film. What did you think of it?
Actually, I think I'm kind of looking forward to it because it seems like it's not taking the Tomb Raider, heritage too seriously. It's like a fun new slant on, Tomb Raider was always sort of like woman Indiana Jones, but also a lot more machine guns. And this, I don't know. I like the tone this trailer is going for. I like the aesthetic and everything. Mm-hmm. It looks fun, and it looks like it has all the right parts in it. So yeah, I think I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a 2013 video game that was basically served as a reboot of the series that it looks like this movie is heavily cribbing from. It was kind of Laura gets stuck on an island. Sorry, her name is Lara, not Laura. Sorry. Lara gets stuck on an island and is basically trying to survive while fighting against people and gets really hurt. Really grossly hurt in that game. And that looks like the kind of tone they're leaning towards here, where it's like her first adventure and she's not expert Tomb Raider and she's got to find a way to survive on this island while raiding tombs, I guess.
Yeah. That sounds okay to me. Yeah. I never played that game, but
yeah. I mean, video game movies are very hit and miss. But I don't know. I'll probably end up seeing it. The director is very encouraging to me. Like the first trailer I saw, I didn't like it. I think I linked you to the second trailer, which was better. That got me a little more confident. So, I guess I'll say I'm in.
Cool.
All right. That's Tomb Raider. Comes out the 16th of March. The next week, the 23rd of March, is the new Wes Anderson movie, Isle of Dogs, written and directed by Wes Anderson, starring, basically everyone you would expect to be in a Wes Anderson movie, and Bryan Cranston is in this. This is another stop-motion animation film.
Cool.
Like Fantastic Mr. Fox, but this one starring some dogs. I guess the concept is this dystopian future Japan where dogs have been quarantined on a remote island due to canine flu. It follows 5 of those dogs, Chief Rex, Boss, Duke, and King, and then a boy comes to the island to search for his dog, and the group of dogs help him. And It looks adorable. I think Fantastic Mr. Fox is such a good movie, and I love the style. And we both love Wes Anderson, so I think we'd be in on anything he did. But I really liked this trailer.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and I think that's really all we have to say. This looks really great.
Yeah. Right. If I weren't familiar with Wes Anderson, then I might have to explain why. But it's like, no, it's gonna rip your heart out. You're gonna cry, and it's gonna be one of your favorite movies. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if it looked even more ridiculous than it does.
Yeah, and what a cast. I mean, I didn't read them all because it's everyone you would expect. Literally, Ed Norton, Bill Murray, Goldblum. Greta Gerwig is in this. Frances McDormand is in this. Harvey Keitel is in this. Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton, and then a bunch of Japanese actors as well. Because Wes Anderson said he wanted to be wanted to make it a Akira Kurosawa type film, and so he decided to do a Kurosawa type film with stop motion animation and dogs. So. There you go. So
I see.
He basically combined Kurosawa with Rankin Bass.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the 23rd of March. We will definitely be seeing that. I'm sure we will do an episode on it as well, because how can we not talk about that movie?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to go see that in theaters. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah. Also on March 23rd, we have Pacific Rim Uprising, the sequel to the Guillermo del Toro mech versus kaiju movie of 2015, I think it came out. This is directed by Stephen S. DeKnight, who is a long history in TV show directing and writing. He worked on Buffy, he worked on Smallville, he worked on Angel, he was the showrunner for Daredevil. He created all the Starz Spartacus TV shows. And he took over because Del Toro was originally set up to direct this movie, and then he had to step off the project. So DeKnight took over. This is his film feature debut. It stars John Boyega, Scott Eastwood, Charlie Day, and Rinko Kikuchi, who plays Mako, who was in the first movie as well. This takes place years after the end of the last movie, where a new generation of giant mech pilots are fighting new giant monsters. And Matt, what did you think of this trailer?
I don't know. So I just watched Pacific Rim for the first time yesterday, actually, by coincidence. And I thought it was okay. It was, the visuals were, amazing, which is what everyone said about it. The story was functional. Didn't leave me walking around thinking about it the next day. It was just a good functional kind of action adventure story. Mm-hmm. And this trailer looks kind of silly in a bad way. I don't know. I don't know. What do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I think I'm out on this one. I really enjoyed Pacific Rim, and I think you're absolutely right. The visuals are great. The story is functional at best. But the visuals are what really got me. Like the scale and the style of this action really appealed to the 10-year-old kid in me that loved seeing giant robots fight giant monsters, and I really enjoyed it. And this, Stephen S. DeKnight, I love his work. I respect what he did in TV. There's nothing in this trailer that really has gripped me. It looks like, oh, we're just going to do that, but more. But Del Toro is one of the best directors working right now, and he managed to capture this in exciting and enthralling ways that I'm just not getting from this trailer.
Yeah, right. It's hard to translate into verbal language what he did visually with Pacific Rim, but basically he made it so that it actually looked cool.
Right.
And it's very easy to ape that and do it very badly and have it just come off as very try hard and extremely uncool because it's trying too hard.
Yeah.
And that's what some of these shots in the trailer look like, where it's just you're just button mashing
mm-hmm.
with the visual language of what the previous movie established. And
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
And the changes they made to like how the Jaegers are piloted and stuff seems specifically to make it like cooler looking, you know? Like that's one thing I liked about Pacific Rim is the controls of these things were actually like clunky. Like they like because the Jaeger moved so slow, you felt like the pilots had to move slower in their actions too, and it felt like not a great smooth like thing, and that made it feel a little more real. And this felt like they've just like turned it up and tried to make it cooler by making it totally fluid, and like they're going to be able to kick and stuff. And I don't know. I just not into it.
No, I'm not either.
All right, that's Pacific Rim Uprising. Sorry, John Boyega. I'm glad you're getting more movies outside of Star Wars, but it doesn't look good.
No.
All right, the 30th of March is Ready Player One. This is written by Ernest Cline and Zach Penn, directed by Steven Spielberg, based on the book by Ernest Cline, starring Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cooke, Ben Mendelsohn, T.J. Miller, and Simon Pegg. This is about the world of Oasis, the artificial virtual reality world where everyone lives in the future, and then the creator of Oasis dies and leaves an Easter egg somewhere hidden in the world that will give the person that finds it millions of dollars and control of the Oasis, and our main character wants that, so he goes to do it. This is throwing every bit of nostalgia in your face as much as possible. Matt, we've talked about this movie before, but let's go over it again. What did you think of the trailer for Ready Player One?
I can't tell what it's so weird because I've read this book and I can't even tell what's going to happen in this movie.
Yeah,
because all that's obvious in the trailer is that it's not going to be the same story as the book, but that doesn't really tell me what it's going to be. And it's really weird right now because there's this huge, like, I guess, backlash toward the book right now. I thought the book was like, I would have given it like 6 out of 10, you know, like not the worst thing in the world. But people are treating it like it's like a sacrilege of some kind. And which is weird because it's like, you do realize, fictional person who I'm talking to who represents Twitter right now, that the author is also conscious of the ridiculousness of like the third wall breaking sort of referentialness of it. Like that's the point.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be funny in that way. I don't know. It's all very confusing to me, and why Spielberg is doing this in the first place is also confusing to me.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. And Steven Spielberg is my favorite director. I love Steven Spielberg. I have no idea why he's doing this. I don't get it. And maybe it'll be good. I don't know. But I did not like the book. And I'm not one of those ones that's running around declaring the book the worst thing ever. I do think the book is like representative of this nostalgia, like reference frenzy we have. That like everything has to reference other thing, and like, oh, look how cool it is because it had a character from Overwatch in it and the DeLorean. And the book is fine. It's fine. I don't think it lands its points I can't spoil it, but I don't think it lands some of the points it's trying for. You could tell that I think Ernest Cline was a first time writer. He had never written anything before this, so I think that shows a little bit. But yeah, I don't get why this was made and why it cost a lot of money. Like, this looks like an expensive movie, and I don't know. Maybe it'll do well. I don't know. A lot of people seem to really love the book too, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't think I'll see it in theaters, but I'm curious to see how this all falls out.
Yeah, I'll probably end up seeing it in theaters, but I won't like it.
Yeah.
All right, that's Ready Player One, March 30th to round out March. And then we move into April, and it's getting closer to summer. So we have some bigger movies. But first, we have You Were Never Really Here, which is probably like the least blockbustery movie on our list here. This is written and directed by Lynn Ramsey, who also directed movies called Ratcatcher and We Need to Talk About Kevin. It's starring Joaquin Phoenix. It premiered at Cannes last year and won both Best Screenplay and Best Actor for Phoenix. So this is a very critically acclaimed movie. I guess it's a thriller about a contract killer who is trying to save a teenager. And this is not... The plot summary seems like something that's been done 100 times before, but I'm really into this trailer. I'm really into the tone and the imagery and what Ramsey is doing with this film. So I'm excited for this, and I like Joaquin Phoenix a lot. What did you think, Matt?
Yeah, pretty much just what you said. Like, as soon as I saw it was Joaquin Phoenix, I was pretty much in, because he's got so much cachet with me, and then, like you said, it just really looks very unique. One of the things in the trailer was like, one of those blurbs where it was like, this generation's taxi driver, and I was like, why would you point that out in the trailer? Why would you point out that the plot is very similar to Taxi Driver?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably true in the sense that it does seem to be thematically similar.
Yeah. It is based on a book by Jonathan Ames, also called You Were Never Really Here. So we can't write original movies anymore. They have to be adapted from something. But I think it looks really good. I saw We Need to Talk About Kevin. I've never seen Ratcatcher, so this is not a director I'm like super up on, but I like what I see, and I want to see this movie.
Yeah, me too. Super in.
All right. Then April 20th, we have Untitled Cloverfield sequel.
All right.
We have no idea what the plot is. We know that this movie was originally titled God Particle and dealt with astronauts on board the ISS. And I think Earth disappeared while some experiment was happening, and then they had to deal with that. But a few days ago, the title shifted away from God Particle and to Untitled Cloverfield sequel. And reports are that the God Particle element of the story might have been completely removed. So there's no trailer, of course, because that's how they do with the Cloverfield movies. But this is directed by Julius Onah, who is a first-time director. And I think it's basically what J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot have decided to do with these Cloverfield things is tell unique science fiction stories from first-time or relatively unknown directors that give them a chance to prop them up and get them exposed. So I'm very into that idea, but we don't know anything about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it impossible for us to really say whether we're in or out beyond, like, it's got the Cloverfield label, and the first two were good, so... Yeah,
10 Cloverfield Lane was excellent. Excellent. But, again, it's a completely different writing team, it's a completely different directing team, starring completely different people, so just because 10 Cloverfield Lane was good does not mean this will be, but it's got
yeah, I mean, kind of like what you said, I'm very much up on this idea of having there be like a, Twilight Zone or Black Mirror, if you will, for movies, which is the Cloverfield label. I think that's a great idea. And honestly, if there's a terrible Cloverfield movie, I'm going to be like, good on you for trying, like really seriously make weird sci-fi. I want it.
Yeah, I agree. And I love that they've decided to do this, to continue with this marketing campaign. Like the big thing with 10 Cloverfield Lane was that nobody knew this movie existed until like 5 weeks before it came out. Like 5 weeks before it came out, they just dropped a trailer and like, oh, look, here's a movie. Surprise. And we know this movie exists, but they're probably, this movie comes out in 3 months. We don't have a trailer. We probably won't get a trailer for like at least a month or two. They've started doing online viral marketing. They have these like puzzle solving things, just like they did with the previous one. That started this weekend, I think. But I like how Bad Robot is doing this. I like it.
Me too. Me too.
So that's Untitled Cloverfield sequel coming out April 20th. Also, April 20th is Super Troopers 2. It's been 17 years since the first Super Troopers, and they are back. This one dealing with conflict between the United States and Canada. It's all the broken lizard people are back, And this movie was funded partially via a campaign on Indiegogo because for some reason a studio did not think this movie would make money. I think it's probably going to make money. What did you think of the trailer?
Pretty funny, actually. I don't know if I can say I'm in the sense that I almost certainly won't go see this in theaters. But the trailer actually got a couple chuckles out of me, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I was never really into the Broken Lizard guys as much as everyone around me. Like, I thought Super Troopers was funny. I was never really obsessed with it. I appreciated that in this trailer, it didn't seem like they were recycling too many jokes.
Some though.
Well, yeah, but like it's funny because like the tagline for the movie is "The time is meow," and it's like that's dumb. But but they didn't use that joke in the trailer itself. Yeah. So that's good. I don't know. It's tough. It's probably gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I don't think it's a style of humor that appeals to me a ton, but I think it appeals to me a bit. Yeah. You know, so it's like, okay, well, does that make it worth watching? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, especially if I'm going to be going to the theater only once this weekend, I'm going to be seeing Cloverfield. So
yeah,
but I'm sure it'll do fine. I'm sure it'll be decent. I do like the Broken Lizard group. I'm just not as enamored with them as so many of my friends were, especially in college.
Yeah, you have to wonder, like 17 years, like when it sort of came out when we were in college, right? When we were in early college. Is that accurate? Or did it come out before then?
Were we in college? Well, 17 years is 2001, so we were in high school still.
We were not in college yet, yeah. So my point was going to be, like, all of the people who were watching it in a young and impressionable age are now old people like us.
Yeah.
So, like, they almost waited too long, and their, like, audience of people who would go see the movie just because it was the sequel has sort of aged out of it.
Possibly, yeah. But there's also... It might also be the perfect time where you're 17 years removed from college and you want to recapture some of the ridiculousness of your youth, and you'll go see this sequel. I don't know.
That's possible.
I don't know. The studio obviously thought it did not. The Indiegogo campaign was very successful, I will say that. So it seems like there was enough interest in here. It raised millions of dollars via Indiegogo. So
yeah, okay.
All right, that's it for April. Now we're moving into May. May is summer proper, and these movies reflect that because on May 4th, we have Avengers Infinity War, the third movie in the Avengers series, the next Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. This is written by the guys that write all the Captain America movies, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, and directed by the Russo brothers, aka the guys that direct all the Captain America movies. This is starring everybody.
Yeah.
What did you think of this trailer? I think we've talked about this trailer before, possibly on air, but let's just go over it again.
Yeah, I think my impression before was that I did like this trailer, and that I specifically liked that they had Thanos say, basically, this is going to be a serious movie with high stakes, but also we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
While staring at the camera. Not really, but it's you kind of get what they're going for. Everything's bigger. You see several shots of our heroes being trod underfoot by a very powerful bad guy, and your everything's more grim, and Cap has a beard, and yeah, I mean they're playing all of the notes they need to play in this trailer. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to have arguments with people who said the stakes weren't high enough because not enough people died. I'm so tired of that argument. But I think it looks great. I'd love, like, the MCU is not subtle, and you're absolutely right that Thanos looks at the camera and declares it fun time, and it's going to be a fun movie. Yes, it's going to be serious. Yes, some of our characters might die. I don't know. Probably not permanently if they do, but because it's comic books, no one ever, like, why are we talking about stakes in comic book movies where no comic book character ever stays dead?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. All that matters is that you feel this
Right.
takes. I mean, and the whole plot thing is you have a gauntlet which can do pretty much anything.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a fun ride. This is the first Avengers that's not directed by Joss Whedon, but the Russo brothers did Civil War, which was basically Avengers movie light. And I thought it was pretty great. So if they can do those if they can make these big universe stakes and shrink them down and make them personal for the characters, and if they can do this without the movie getting lost because there are so many characters, I think it'll be a fun ride.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so that's May the 4th, Avengers Infinity War. The 18th of May, Deadpool 2 is coming out. This is starring basically everyone from the original Deadpool movie, and also Josh Brolin is joining the cast as Cable. So Josh Brolin's going to have a really good May.
Yeah. He's going to be two of the coolest superheroes in yeah.
And it is directed by David Leitch, who is a former stuntman turned director who also gave us John Wick and Atomic Blonde. I don't know, Matt. I went looking for the story synopsis for this movie, and of course I found what the marketing for this movie is fantastic. Deadpool's marketing across the board has been fantastic, and this story summary is great. It's fake, obviously, but
can you read it to us, Scott?
Yeah, I'll read it. After surviving a near-fatal kneeboarding accident, a disfigured guidance counselor, Wade Wilson, struggles to fulfill his dreams of becoming Poughkeepsie's most celebrated French bulldog breeder, while also learning to cope with an open relationship. Searching to regain his passion for life, as well as a new stuffed unicorn, Wade must battle ninjas, tight-ass metal men, and babysit a group of stereotypical side characters as he journeys around the world to discover the importance of family, friendship, and creative outlets for his very open-minded sex life. He manages to find new lust for being a do-gooder, a sparkly Hello Kitty backpack, all while earning the coveted coffee mug titled of World's Best Fourth Wall Breaking Superhero.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So here's the thing about this, though. I think probably some of this is true.
Yeah,
like there's
right.
just enough real stuff in here that I think it could be true.
Yeah. Well, the trailers are really fun because you linked me one of these trailers, and then I went and I watched a few of them. And what's fun about Deadpool trailers is almost none of them show anything from the movie. I mean, usually eventually they get around to making a real trailer, but most of these are just zany like riffs where Ryan Reynolds is just having fun, which is really the reason why all this works. Is this is like a passion project for him, and he's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm in on this one, definitely.
Yeah, me too. All right, that's Deadpool 2. Now we're going to go to the 25th of April. It's Star Wars time. We have Solo, a Star Wars story, written by Lawrence Kasdan and directed by Ron Howard after Phil Lord and Chris Miller got fired, starring Aiden Einrich as Han Solo, Woody Harrelson as Beckett, Han's mentor, Emilia Clarke as a character named Kira, and Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. Matt, there is no trailer for this movie, even though it comes out in 4 months. It had a very notoriously troubled production. Are you worried about Solo?
I wouldn't say I'm worried because I'm already resigned to it being a mess. I mean, we didn't need this movie. No,
we didn't. But if we were going to get it, at least do something interesting with it. And I just feel like that's not what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, the only possible silver lining is that Kasdan is writing.
Yeah.
But even that, I don't know how much credit to give him for Empire, you know?
Right,
so,
right.
So we'll just have to see. I mean, I'm going to see it at some point.
Yeah, of course. The rumor is, by the way, that a trailer is coming this week sometime. I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but that's the rumor. We'll see. But there's not much to say about that. I don't like that this movie exists.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, June 8th, Ocean's 8. This is the all-female spin-off to Ocean's 11. It's written by Gary Ross and Olivia Milch and directed by Gary Ross, who did Pleasantville and Seabiscuit and a few other movies. The 8 women are Sandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, Mindy Kaling, Sarah Paulson, Awkwafina, Rihanna, and Helena Bonham Carter. What did you think of this trailer, Matt?
It looks really good. Like I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I hadn't even seen the trailer before you linked it to me today, but just based on the cast, I was already pretty sure it was going to be good. And it looks like they're not going for the tone of Ocean's 11 necessarily, but they're going for the same like genre, and it's gonna hit a lot of the same plot beats, but it's gonna maybe focus more on these actors' comedic strengths.
Yeah.
I'm waffling a lot because I'm like saying all of this from watching one trailer, but that's kind of what it smells like to me.
I agree. Steven Soderbergh is producing it. Take that for what you will. I'm always in for more heist movies, so definitely in. And it's a great cast. It's a great cast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to any of these people complain because we're just rebooting old things with all women casts. It's like, well, when it's these women, it's great. So shut up.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. May the 15th. No, June. We're in June now. June the 15th. Incredibles 2, next Pixar movie. Written and directed by Brad Bird, who also did the first Incredibles and Ratatouille, starring everyone that was in the first one: Holly Hunter, Craig T. Nelson, Samuel L. Jackson, but also introducing Bob Odenkirk and Catherine Keener in roles that they haven't described yet. We saw one little tiny teaser for this. We don't know much about it other than Elastigirl is going to be the main character. She's going to be out saving the world, and Bob, Mr. Incredible, is going to be left at home to care for the children. So that's all we really know. Yeah.
I mean, the trailer is not a very informative trailer, which is fine.
No. Yeah.
I think this is one of the ones where if you liked Incredibles, then you're in, and I don't think anyone didn't like Incredibles, so I guess everyone's in.
Yes, I agree. But I wish Pixar would make new movies. Coco was so good. Do original stuff. But if this is what we're going to get, I guess I'm as happy as I can be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, I would consider myself in. All right. June 22nd, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the sequel to 2015's Jurassic World. This is written by Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly, who wrote the first movie, and directed by J.A. Bayona, who directed The Impossible and A Monster Calls. One movie I did not like, the other I liked very much. And it's starring Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and B.D. Wong. They're all back. Jeff Goldblum is rumored to make a small reprising role playing Ian Malcolm again. And it's about a volcano killing dinosaurs and people saving it. What did you think of the trailer of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Matt?
This is the worst trailer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow. I'm not surprised, but wow. Why did it work so badly on you?
I'm not even sure if this is the same trailer that I saw, because I didn't watch the one you linked because I'd already watched one before and I didn't want to watch it again because I was so angry. It just looks so stupid. You see the dinosaurs running around in looking like fake CGI tech demos, and then like stopping and fighting while they're running away from lava. And then like standing and looking at humans in a threatening way while lava and flame is coming toward them.
Yeah.
Nothing makes any sense. You can't really tell what the movie's going to be about, but you don't care because it doesn't connect to you in any way. All it's doing is showing you images of dinosaurs, but they're doing things that don't make sense. And so you just, it's a shame. Because I'm the kind of person who you could have just like fed me dinosaur movies for my whole life, and I would have gone to see all of them. Mm-hmm. You really, really had to screw it up to alienate me from going to see your dinosaur movies, because I was the dinosaur kid, and they have succeeded with their Jurassic World franchise in alienating me.
Yeah, you didn't like the first one, right? Jurassic World.
No, not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. There's this weird thing they're trying to do. Like, apparently one of the thing that Chris Pratt is going to be doing when he goes back to the island is searching for his dinosaur friend, Blue. And like the marketing campaign for this movie is pushing hard on this dinosaur Blue and assuming that like everyone was really into this dinosaur, like, which is just one of the random raptors that he was friends with or something.
And then tried to kill him.
Yeah. Like no one cares about Blue. Like nobody cares. Like, why are you pushing this on us? I don't know. I am completely with you. I think this is a bad trailer. It's probably going to be a bad movie. I just Jurassic Park was so good, and now we're here, and it'll probably make $1.5 billion again.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, because that's the thing. Dinosaurs are so cool.
Yeah. All right, that's Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Comes out June 22nd. Rounding out June is Sicario 2: Soldado. We have a trailer for this one as well. This is written by Taylor Sheridan, who wrote the first movie as well as Hell or High Water or Wind River. It's directed by someone different, though. It's not directed by Denis Villeneuve. It's directed by Stefano Sollima, who is an Italian film and TV director. Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro are back. Matt, did you ever see the first Sicario? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
What do you think of this trailer?
It looks all wrong. I mean, it looks like a completely different genre. Like Sicario was this serious, almost thoughtful, like the ratio of action to sort of psychological stuff was pretty slanted toward the psychological. This looks like, I don't even know what the name of the genre is, but it's not even the same genre. It's got people delivering one-liners and then blowing people away. Like, that's not something that was going to ever be in Sicario. Am I wrong here?
No, I thank you for saying that, because I completely agree with you. It looks like it's trying too hard. And like, I really like Taylor Sheridan. I think he's a fantastic screenwriter. So that's the only reason I'm even remotely positive about this film. But yeah, I think it's like Sicario wasn't really written to have a sequel. So just the fact that they're doing this feels wrong already. And yeah, the tone of the trailer is weird. The best parts of the trailer were the tension, not the action. And it feels like we've abandoned the tension and we're just embracing the very last part of the movie where the original movie where Benicio del Toro just goes off and kills a shitload of people. And that's not what the movie was, really.
Yeah, Benicio's character is like a parody of Benicio's character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of, it's laughable, honestly. Like it takes what was kind of a menacing and scary character, like that, toward the end of that movie, he is like, you're scared of what he might do to the character who you actually like.
Yeah.
And he does horrible things. And in this movie, he's just, it's bad.
Yeah. That's Sicario 2, Soldado. I think we're both out on that one, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't want to be, but yeah. And now we move into July, and this is the point in the year, Matt, where we stop really having trailers. So we're just going to talk about these at a very high level, and then move on. These conversations will be a lot quicker.
Okay.
July 6th, Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel to Ant-Man. This is written by Chris McKenna, and Paul Rudd wrote part of this, and directed by Peyton Reed, who also directed the first Ant-Man and Bring It On, the cheerleading movie, which is actually really good. Everyone from the first movie is back, but also Lawrence Fishburne has signed on, and Walton Goggins is back. Is in this one. That's Goggins' third appearance on this list. It's supposed to be set after Captain America: Civil War, but it's not clear whether it's going to be set after Infinity War or not. It doesn't seem like it. And it has Scott Lang as Paul Rudd trying to balance his Ant-Man responsibilities of being a father, and then Evangeline Lilly's Hope Van Dyne and Hank Pym put him on a new mission, and he has to team up with Evangeline Lilly's character, who is the Wasp. And that's really all we know. You liked the first Ant-Man, right?
Yeah. I don't think I was as crazy about it as some people, but I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I really loved that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, this is the kind of thing where in or out depends on whether you like the first one, and I think we both did. So, I think I'm in.
Yeah, all right. I am definitely in on this too. I assume we'll get a trailer probably March timeframe. I'm encouraged by the fact that everyone seems to have come back, and I don't know. I'm pretty positive on it. All right, so that's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Next, we move to July 13th with The Nun. There's not a lot to say here. I just wanted to bring this movie up because this is another one of the Conjuring Universe spin-off films that James Wan is producing and making so much money off of. These movies come out. One comes out every summer. There's Annabelle, Annabelle 2, and now The Nun, that are spin-off of the two Conjuring horror films. And they always do really well. They always make a lot of money, so it's worth bringing them up. This one is about The Nun, which if you saw The Conjuring 2, the nun was a scary nun in a painting that was terrifying. And we don't know much of anything about this movie other than that. It's the origin story of that scary demon painting. So that's The Nun.
Okay. I haven't watched any Conjuring movies, and I don't even know what you're talking about, so
all right.
I'll just have to wait and see a trailer.
Yep. All right, so July 20th, Attila Battle Angel comes out. This is written and produced by James Cameron and directed by Robert Rodriguez. Oof. And starring Rosa Salazar as Attila. Christoph Waltz and Jennifer Connelly are in this movie as well. This is based loosely probably off the anime Battle Angel Attila. I've not seen that anime, and this trailer looks terrible. What do you think, Matt?
Interesting. See, I wouldn't have said it looks terrible. Are you saying that because of the weird visual choices, or do you think it looks terrible other than that?
I think it looks very bland outside of the visual choices, and the visual choices look bad.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. It does strike, like, the story strikes me as very kind of stereotypical, you know, coming of age story, except you're a cyborg.
Yep.
Which we've seen a few times now.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
The choice to do the anime eyes, I can't get over it. And even if everything else in the movie looked great, I don't think I'd be able to get over that. And they spent, the budget on this movie was $175 million.
Uh-huh.
Why did they do that? Who's gonna, like, I'm sure there are a lot of excited anime fans that are gonna see this movie, but there are not enough of them to justify that. I mean, maybe it'll do really well in China and Japan, maybe. I don't know. But it's not going to do well in the States. I can pretty much guarantee that.
When I was watching this trailer, I was thinking, actually, like, if we saw the trailer for The Fifth Element today and it was a new movie, I think we would be like, meh, for similar reasons to the reasons that we feel that way about this trailer. Whereas if we saw this trailer in, 2000 or whatever, we'd be freaking out. And I don't know quite what to make of that. Like, because this does have some kind of cool images, but we're so like drowning in cool images now that it's not really worth anything to just say, oh, it's got really cool visuals. It's like, that's like a minimum requirement now.
Also, Robert Rodriguez sucks.
Yeah.
Like, he really sucks. Like, he's checked out of being an interesting director a long time ago. So I don't get excited when I see his name on anything anymore.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, I'm definitely out on this movie. If you like anime, I mean, I'm interested, like, people that like anime, like, and have this is a really important anime to them, what they thought of this trailer, and if it's like holding up close to the anime or if it's doing its own thing.
Right, because isn't this like particularly famous and good manga, at least? I'm not even like so this is the kind of thing where if you're a fan of that, you will care if they do a good job in the movie. Here's
what we know from Wikipedia. James Cameron has stated he intends to adapt the spine of the story with a specific focus on the first 4 books. He especially wants to include the fictional sport motorball from the 3rd and 4th volume. So I don't know what any of that means, but take that for what it is.
All right.
That's Attila Battle Angel. Also in July, on the 27th, is Mission Impossible 6. We know basically nothing about this movie. We know it's written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who did MI5, which was pretty good. We know everyone from the previous movie is back, but Henry Cavill is joining the cast. And Tom Cruise got hurt doing a stunt again because,
I know.
Of course, he did.
I mean, isn't that a good sign though? I don't know.
And he was back to work 2 weeks earlier than everyone expected him to be after getting hurt because that man is like an eternal person. I don't understand.
Yeah, he's a treasure. It's the tech, Scott.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I'm in on this because I like this franchise, and I think, especially lately, the movies have been pretty good. So, yeah, I'll go see a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, I think me too.
Cool. All right, that is all for July. We're moving into August now. We have even less knowledge about these movies. August 3rd, though, is The Predator, written by Shane Black and Fred Dekker, and directed by Shane Black. This is... I've seen it called a reboot. I've seen it called a Lega sequel, like it's a sequel but set many years into the future. We don't know much of anything about this movie except that it's written and directed by Shane Black, and that means I'm in.
Yeah, me too.
So
yeah. I don't know if people are familiar, but not only was Shane Black in the original Predator movie,
yep,
but he is a director that we love here at the Daily Planet anyway.
Yeah. We ride hard for Shane Black here.
Yeah, so we're all in. All the chips are down.
Yeah, it's got a pretty interesting cast. Boyd Holbrook, Olivia Munn is in this. Keegan-Michael Key and Sterling K. Brown are in this. Jacob Tremblay, the kid that won the Oscar for The Room, or was nominated. I don't think he won for The Room. That little child actor who's adorable. Alfie Allen is in this movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
Edward James Olmos is in this movie. So, yeah, Thomas Jane. It's I have no idea what it's about, but
some idea, but
well, it's about alien that
it's about an alien that blows people up with a shoulder cannon.
Yeah,
but other than that, yeah.
Okay, fair. All right, that's it for August. That's all we have. Moving in September, Matt, September 14th. It's a movie called Alpha. This is a movie about the origin story of the friendship between man and dog. What did you think? We actually have a trailer for this one because it got pushed back. It was originally supposed to come out in, I think, February, but it got pushed back. What did you think of this trailer?
I thought like this premise is really fun. Like from the description, I was really excited about it, and I think this is one of these movies that I'm going to secretly like and hold dear to my heart, despite any objective quality. Just because I like the idea of it quite a lot.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the trailer one way or the other. It looks like they're trying for something interesting. We'll see.
All right. I like that optimism because I rolled my eyes so hard at this movie. Yeah, and saying that, I think this movie is going to do very well. I think the concept of the movie is talking about the first relationship between man and dog. I think it's just that's a very attractive idea that I think is going to bring a lot of people to the theater. I think it looks bad. I think it looks like they're trying for this like grand like survival story. I think it's funny that the Wikipedia calls it a historical drama. I was like, what? Because we domesticated dogs, so this is a historical drama. But that's me just being uppity. This trailer didn't do a lot for me, but
no. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm pretty sure we domesticated dogs because like a smaller species of scavenging dog would come around our encampments.
Yes.
And then would get closer and closer, and then eventually at some point was living among us, and then a long process of evolution happened. It wasn't a dire wolf.
No, Matt, because it was we were fighting with the dire wolf, and then we injured it, and then we felt bad, so we carried it up to a cave, and then we fed it some meat, and then we became best friends.
Yes, and if you know anything about wolf psychology, it's that the wolf would be compliant and friendly forevermore after that event, and not rip his throat out the first time he accidentally made eye contact with it.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
That's Alpha, September 14th. We'll see. I'm trying to be positive, but as we get to the back half of this year, my positivity is just being sapped away, as you will see in the next movie, which comes out September 21st. It's Robin Hood. It's another Robin Hood movie.
Oh, what a novel idea.
Yeah. And it's written by Joby Harold, who also wrote King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, which came out last year, which was not good. Starring Taron Egerton as Robin Hood and Jamie Foxx as Little John. We don't know anything about it. I mean, we know everything about it because it's going to be the same Robin Hood story that's been told over and over again.
Except with all of the stylistic choices that made the Legend of the Sword movie not work, apparently.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Which I didn't see, but...
I didn't see it either, but...
So I hear.
All right, that is Robin Hood, September 21st. Hooray.
Yeah.
Moving in October 5th, Venom. It's happening, Matt.
Okay.
It's actually happening. Ruben Fleischer, who directed Zombieland, is directing this movie. It's starring Tom Hardy as Venom and Michelle Williams as Anne Weying, who plays is She-Venom in the comics sometimes. Also, Riz Ahmed and Jenny Slate are rumored to be in talks to join this movie. It's happening. Tom Hardy is in a standalone Venom movie.
It's going to be amazing.
I want it to be good, but there's all these kind of like conflicting reports about if this is going to be part of the MCU or not. Marvel, like Kevin Feige from Marvel basically said, no, this is nothing to do with the MCU. And then producer Amy Pascal came forward and said, no, like this is in the same world as the MCU films. And like Tom Holland's Spider-Man might even be in this movie. But then they were like, no, it's going to be its own thing. So I have no idea.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
But, see, here's the thing. Like, you have to... I can't imagine Tom Hardy not giving us something absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, he's great.
As Venom. Like, the movie's going to be... I don't know about worth it, but the movie's going to be very interesting just because of his presence in it. It's kind of like how his like take on Bane was it like, say what you will about it, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I will see this movie just to see whatever the hell Tom Hardy's going to do. I don't think it's going to be a good movie, but I ride or die for Tom Hardy. So
yeah. And
Michelle Williams is one of the greatest working actresses alive, and I have no idea why she's in this movie. But that's Venom, October 5th. It's happening. October 12th, Goosebumps Horrorland. I only bring this up because Goosebumps, the original, was such a shockingly good movie and like made a lot of money. It grossed $150 million. We know nothing about the movie except that Jack Black will probably be back. I just bring this up to once again say, go watch the first Goosebumps movie. It's really surprisingly good. And maybe they'll do something interesting with the sequel.
Cool.
All right. On the 19th of October, right in time for Halloween, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
I know it's another Halloween movie, but I want you to hear me out here, Matt.
Okay.
This is written by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, who did all the hilarious TV shows, Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, a bunch of other hilarious things. It's directed by Gordon Green. It's produced by Blumhouse. It's executive produced by John Carpenter himself. It's starring Jamie Lee Curtis again, reprising her original role. So if that's not enough to get you at least mildly interested in what this is going to be, I don't know what to tell you.
So do we know if it's going to be a comedy?
It's not. In fact, John Carpenter wants it. Like, he was mad that the Rob Zombie remake was not as scary and was more like enjoying the violence and more like disturbingly violent. He wants it to be scary, and he wants a scary movie. And apparently David Gordon Green and Danny McBride pitched something to Carpenter, and Carpenter liked it enough to say yes. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there'll be funny parts in it, but I think it's supposed to be a scary movie.
Yeah. I mean, if Jamie Lee Curtis is back, I trust her judgment, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that true? I'm not sure.
All right. That's Halloween, October 19th. I am in. This is enough to get me in. And Halloween is one of my favorite horror films. So
Yeah.
I keep watching these sequels and remakes, even though I shouldn't, but I can't help myself.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of horror movies because they scare me. But I might watch this one.
Okay. All right. Moving on to November 2nd, we have X-Men: The Dark Phoenix. Matt, this is written and directed by Simon Kinberg, who also did X-Men Apocalypse, who did Fantastic Four, and who did X-Men Days of Futures Past. So that's not a good sign. Everyone is back. I don't know how they got everyone back, but everyone's back for this movie. Even Jennifer Lawrence, who, like, I'm pretty sure has been completely checked out for the last 2 movies, is back again to reprise the character Mystique. So I don't know how this is happening. Also, they got Jessica Chastain to come in because she's one of the best actresses working as well. So naturally, she's going to come into this terrible franchise. But
yeah,
I don't care about the Dark Phoenix, and
we already had a Dark Phoenix movie.
We did it once, and then she went Phoenix at the end of Apocalypse, and then that, like, just done.
Yeah. It's just not that interesting of a story.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
The rumor is this is supposed to hold closer to the actual story in the comics. But I don't know how that works, because I'm pretty sure in the comics, Phoenix was an alien that inhabited Jean Grey's body and not just like her hidden latent powers. But that seems like what they're doing again with this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of these. There's been one good X-Men movie. One.
See, I enjoyed, like, I think I mentioned a while ago that I enjoyed Apocalypse as, like, a completely suitable successor to the 90s Saturday morning cartoon series. And like, as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of what I want X-Men to be. So I suppose, like, there's actually a chance that I could end up liking this movie as, like, the right level of campiness and ridiculousness that I kind of want out of my X-Men movies, but I'm not confident that they'll hit that target either. So
no, not with Kinberg in the writer's seat. This takes place in 1992, so we're jumping decades again.
Okay.
I can't wait for Quicksilver to have a cool slow-mo sequence again, because everyone loved those. So we had to do it again.
I mean, that's why people go to see these movies, I'm pretty sure. So.
I think you're right. Yeah, so that's X-Men: The Dark Phoenix, November 2nd, I guess. I'm out. I'm so done with these X-Men movies. I saw Apocalypse and was like, why did I do that?
Yes. Remember I had my weekend where I saw Apocalypse and Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad all in the same weekend.
Yeah. I don't know how you did that.
I think that's why I liked Apocalypse, is because it was in contrast to those other two.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Also on November 2nd, we have The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. This is a Disney movie. That's a remake of the story of the Nutcracker. And you know what? I scoffed at this idea at first, and then I watched the trailer, and I am intrigued. What did you think?
Yeah, it looks cool. It seems like kind of a kid's movie, which is fine. I mean, obviously it's Disney, right? But I can't tell really anything about it other than it's going to have cool visuals, and it seems like they're going to be taking ideas from the Nutcracker story. I don't know if they're going to be changing it or what exactly. I think this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I think it is too. And it's weird because watching this trailer, I immediately thought of their Alice in Wonderland remake. But I didn't like that. I didn't like what they did with Alice in Wonderland. And that didn't appeal to me, but for some reason it does here, and I can't really put my finger on why. Maybe because that was Alice in Wonderland was Tim Burton, right?
Yeah,
that's probably
I think
why.
That was because it was the really, really too much Tim Burton.
Yeah,
late career Tim Burton, where he's lost all moderation. Whereas this is just kind of an interesting. I mean, Nutcracker is always weird. Like it's everyone who puts on the ballet has their own kind of weird, different take on what it's supposed to look like. So I'm completely fine with them having their own weird take on that. Yeah,
it has Keira Knightley as the Sugar Plum Fairy. Helen Mirren is in it. Mackenzie Foy plays Clara. Morgan Freeman is in this movie. So it's pretty good. It's got a good director, Lasse Hallström, who directed Cider House Rules and Chocolat. So it's good. Disney's spending a lot of money on this movie and taking it seriously. So I think it's going to be really big.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I think I'm probably in on that.
Cool. All right, November 16th, the sequel to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This is written by J.K. Rowling herself, directed by David Yates, who has basically just made Harry Potter his career. He's done, I think he's done every single Harry Potter movie since the 5th one. And he's doing both of these, and he's going to do the 3rd Fantastic Beasts film as well. So everyone from the first movie is returning. Jude Law is joining the cast, playing the younger Albus Dumbledore. And I don't know what to think about this.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the first Fantastic Beasts movie.
It's not great. It's a very messy script. It was also written by Rowling, and it's got a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rowling was good at writing the first, 2 or 3 Harry Potter books, and then fell outside of the scope of her expertise.
We need to do an episode on Harry Potter, like just a really deep dive, long form discussion, because we hint towards our feelings about Harry Potter a lot, but we never really talked about it.
Yeah, I think we'd make some people mad because some people really like Harry Potter, but it might be worth it anyway.
I think it's interesting because I think a lot of people do really like Harry Potter, but I also think it's going through kind of like I'm not going to say backlash, but there are people that are realizing that while they are enjoyable books, they are not as well written as people remember them. So
yeah. I mean, it was such a cultural phenomenon that you have to separate that out from the story and the writing.
Right. Yeah. All right. I'm out on this. I saw the first one because I was curious, and it just did nothing for me. So I'm just gonna pass on this one. Also, Johnny Depp, like fuck Johnny Depp. Stop it.
Yeah. Wasn't it? Yeah. The only thing I know about this is that his first form was Colin Farrell, and should have remained Colin Farrell in everyone's opinion.
Completely agree. Don't know why they did that. Anyway. Yeah. All right. That's Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, November 16th. November 22nd, we have a couple movies. First up is Creed 2, the sequel to the Ryan Coogler film that I loved. This one is written by Sylvester Stallone and directed by Stephen Caple Jr. Everyone is back, and they brought in Dolph Lundgren as well, who's reprising his role as Ivan Drago. We don't know much about this movie yet, but a character named Vitor Drago was cast, so I think that's who Adonis is going to be fighting. Matt, this movie is a bad idea. This is a bad idea for a movie. I'm not happy. It doesn't look good. Okay.
I wouldn't you have said the same thing about Creed though?
No.
No?
Because it was Ryan Coogler. Here's the thing that Creed did so well. Creed honored the legacy of Rocky the character and Rocky the series, but specifically set out to move beyond that, move in a different direction. Like, we're talking about Adonis Creed now. He is like, it's both him embracing being a Creed while also carving his own path. And now we come back in the sequel and we say, well, this time you're going to fight the kid whose father killed your dad. And it's just like, so are we just going to go through the greatest hits of Rocky again and just keep pulling people back in? Like, I wanted to go, like, of course there's going to be a sequel because the first movie did well, but I wanted to do something new and different and tell a different story instead of just recycling this stuff. Like, Creed was a perfect way to say goodbye to the character of Rocky and to say goodbye to that storyline and do something different. And that's not what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, they could take it in an interesting direction where it's not just straight up he has to have another grudge match. There can be some reconciliation between them, but
you're absolutely right. I hope you're right.
Yeah,
I hope that's exactly what they do. But
depends on how much faith you put in Stallone, I guess. Which,
yeah, I mean, I love Sylvester Stallone. He wrote pretty much every single Rocky movie, and they're some of my favorite movies ever. But I don't know. I just don't have a good feeling here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Also on the 22nd, though, is Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2. This is written by Pamela Rabone, who did Moana, and directed by Phil Johnston and Rich Moore, who directed Wreck-It Ralph and Zootopia. It's 6 years after the events of the first movie, and Ralph and Vanellope discover a Wi-Fi router and then go into the internet. And yeah, we don't have a trailer yet, but all the Disney princesses apparently are going to be featured in this movie. They're going to throw some Star Wars stuff in it as well. I don't know what to think about this. I liked Wreck-It Ralph. I did.
It'll probably be funny. I don't know. I have no problem with the idea that this could be a funny movie and probably kind of forgettable, but
yeah. I mean, there's like the first movie was a lot of video game references, a lot of arcade game references. This is going to be a lot of internet references, like a lot. Yeah. I hope not
apparently,
too much.
Yeah, and apparently a lot of like pop culture in general, if it has Star Wars and Disney princesses.
Yeah, and Iron Man and Gamora from Marvel will be there.
Good. Okay,
well,
right.
So
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Okay.
Thanksgiving. Now we move into the end of the year. We move into December. We know barely anything about any of these movies, but we have a teaser trailer for one of them. December 14th, the film Mortal Engines comes out. This is written by Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Peter Jackson, who I think this is the first time they've all teamed up to write again together since Lord of the Rings. I don't know if they all worked together on The Hobbit. I hope not, because, eesh. This is directed by Christian Rivers. This is his directorial debut, but he's been working with Peter Jackson since the beginning of his career. He's been either a VFX supervisor or second unit director or something. So it seems like Jackson is kind of giving him this movie as like his planting his flag and entering the directing world.
That's cool. Very strange though. Very strange trailer.
Yeah. So the concept is that like it's the end of the world. There was a cataclysm and people now live on giant moving cities, and big cities devour small towns for resources, like literally devour them. And I don't know much else about it except for that. It's based on a Philip Reeve novel of the same name. And the trailer didn't like excite me, but it didn't completely turn me off either.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Snowpiercer, where the idea of it is just so like combination of ridiculous and like, oh, I get it. Like I get the social satire you're doing there. It's very obvious, but then because it's executed well, because Snowpiercer was executed well, you give it a pass for those things. This could be that again, basically, where it's like you're like, that's a extremely bizarre and physically unrealistic premise, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say I'm in on this one, just because of that Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, Peter Jackson combo. I like these writers.
Yeah, I think I'll give them a pass. I mean, a go, a yes, a thumbs up.
Yeah. All right, that's Mortal Engines. Next, we have on the 21st of December, Aquaman, the next Warner Brothers film. I can't even say this without laughing. This is written and directed by James Wan, who did the Conjuring series we were talking about, who also directed Furious 7. Jason Momoa is back. Amber Heard is playing Mira. Willem Dafoe is in this as well. Nicole Kidman is Aquaman's mom. Can you see the resemblance between Jason Momoa and Nicole Kidman?
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. I'm done with DC. I'm out. if it's not Wonder Woman 2, I don't want to see it. That's my feeling on this.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I kind of agree. I always have my like small probability that some inexplicable miracle happens, but yeah, I don't see anything promising here.
Yep. All right. Also on the 21st, Bumblebee. It's the Transformers spin-off movie.
Yay.
Here's some good things about it, though. Travis Knight, who directed Kubo and the Two Strings, and who is one of the founders of Laika, the stop-motion animation studio, is directing this movie. So that's cool. Encouraging. It was written by Christina Hodson, who hasn't written very much. She has a script called Shut In that was on the blacklist of the best unproduced scripts for that year. It eventually did get produced. So that's encouraging. It's like a little well-known writer, a small but good director. It's starring Haley Steinfeld, who is a great actress. John Cena's in it too. And it's about the Transformer Bumblebee in 1987 in a small California beach town.
Oh. Okay, well, that's actually kind of fun. It's kind of a different take.
Yeah,
we're not going to have a blue light in the sky that somebody has to blow up with a rocket, I guess.
I'm really wondering what the tone of this movie is. Like, are there going to be Decepticons, or is this just going to be a girl in her car? That could be interesting.
I really hope it's just a girl in her robot car who saves her when she gets into jams.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, that's Bumblebee. It's happening.
Okay, cool.
I think it's being produced by Michael Bay. I don't think he's involved any other way except for executive producer or something. So that's also encouraging.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, the last movie on our list is Mary Poppins Returns on December 25th. That comes out on Christmas. This is the sequel to Mary Poppins. It's set in the 1930s London, where the Banks children are all grown up. And Mary Poppins comes back because Michael Banks is still living out of that same house, and he suffers a tragedy, and Mary Poppins comes back. Only she brings her street lamplighter friend Jack and her cousin Topsy. So this is starring Emily Blunt, Lin-Manuel Miranda from Hamilton, and Meryl Streep are all in this movie. This is one of Disney's big releases. I think they're expecting to make a lot of money off of this. What do you think? We don't know much, but
I mean, I love Mary Poppins. I've always had a soft spot for Mary Poppins. My kids love Mary Poppins.
How do you feel about Emily Blunt as the character?
I have to see. I mean, honestly, I think any good actor can transform themselves. So we'll just have to see if she can either find an adequate copy of the original or find her own take on it that works well. It is weird though, because it's it's almost reactionary now because it's so old, that like the morals of the story are out of step with modern time, to a degree.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
So you gotta wonder how exactly it's gonna be different, and they're gonna focus on different things. It's gonna be more modern. That's all. That's all fine. I'm kind of very mildly. I definitely take my kids to it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think Emily Blunt is a great choice. I think she's gonna she's gonna do something a little different with it, but
yeah,
I think it's gonna be good. Like Mary Poppins is great.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it. I have to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That was a good choice right there.
Yeah. All right, that's it. That's it for the year. We finished the year finally. There was like 35 films in an hour and a half. So after all that, how do you feel about 2018 in film?
I think there's enough good stuff in there to look forward to. And there's probably going to be some big surprises out of left field like we always get. And overall, I'm optimistic about the year. I mean, I know that there was a tremendous amount of grumbling in there, but that's just because that's just how it is. Like, especially when you're only looking at the quote unquote blockbusters. Blockbusters tend to be like lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
And then it's stuff like Blade Runner 2049 that somehow is a financial flop, but is the greatest movie ever made that I, that you end up actually caring about.
Yeah.
So
yeah, as much as I am, there's a lot to look forward to here, and you're absolutely right that we grumbled a lot, especially in the back half. But there's a lot of interesting films here, and I am looking forward to the surprises, the things that would never be on this list. And we'll probably come back in the fall and do a fall movie preview where we know a lot more about what the movies of the fall look like. But for now, I am optimistic. 2018, I'm excited, except for Robin Hood. Stop it.
Yeah, and Jurassic Park.
Yeah, well, you can't. The movie made $1.5 billion. You can't expect them not to make a sequel. That would not be fair to them.
They'll never stop. I mean, yeah, they'll never stop making dinosaur movies, and they'll never stop making Jurassic Park movies either.
Yep. All right, and that is it for the preview. So let's talk about, real quick, what we've been watching.
What have you been watching? What have I been watching? Well, I asked you first, so you better tell me.
Matt, you already hinted towards this.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about it. I watched Pacific Rim yesterday, which I had never seen, and I had been meaning to see forever. There's a long list of movies actually that I've been meaning to see forever, and I finally got around to watching this one. And like I said, the visuals, the emotional element of it was very functional. There was only a little bit of it that didn't work on me, I think. And that was fine. It wasn't bad.
Which part didn't work on you? Was it the two scientists?
I thought that was so. My problem with the two scientists, honestly, was that I had a tremendous amount of trouble understanding what they were saying. And that might even just be like my audio setup, but like they both had a really affected way of speaking, but in completely different ways, and my brain had a really hard time catching what they were saying to each other, and they do this really rapid fire repartee in their really thick accents. Well, one of them had a thick accent, the other one was just kind of talking too fast. And that was the aspect of that didn't work for me. But I actually bought their delightfully corny, romance. I don't think I quite bought the relationship between the Mako Mori and the main character.
Okay.
That was like the weakest element for me. All the other dramatic and interpersonal elements worked pretty well. Here's
how I think you fix the movie. Make Mako the main character.
Yeah.
I don't know why that wasn't done in the first place, other than maybe people were afraid to make a movie where a female Asian was starring, maybe, which sucks, but I think she is a much better character than, I don't even remember the guy's name. What's his name?
I don't remember his name either. I'm serious.
He's kind of a wet blanket of a character. Like, he's just not very interesting, and he's the weakest part of the movie. And she is the most interesting part of the movie, especially her relationship with her adopted father and that complication. And I don't know, like, make her the main character.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the main character is his arc doesn't line up with the movie correctly, because basically, spoilers, he loses his brother toward the very beginning of the movie, and then spends like 6 years hiding out, and then his boss comes back and he's like, "You're going to be a Jaeger pilot again," and he's going to be like, "No, that life is behind me. There's too much trauma." And then his boss is like, "Shut up, you're going to do it." And he's like, "Okay," and that's it. That's the end of his arc. That was he faced his fears, and he gets back into it, and that's it. He doesn't develop any further past that.
Yeah.
As a character, like he's too much of like a great guy with no flaws, and they fix his only flaw, which is that he's scared. They fix that, and it's just over. So you're right that I don't know if I don't know. I suspect you're right, because you probably thought about it more than me. I haven't thought about how to fix it yet. That's interesting though. So,
yeah,
make her the main character.
If you ever rewatch the movie, rewatch it pretending that she's the protagonist, and I think it works a lot better.
Okay,
I really do.
We'll do.
Yeah. All right. I saw a movie called Happy Death Day, which is a movie I It came out last year. It was a horror film that was one of the Blumhouse horror productions. That's basically Groundhog Day, but instead of waking up, she gets murdered and then wakes up in the same day, and she's having to relive the same day over and over again, and always ends the day getting murdered. This was surprisingly good. It's like blatant Groundhog Day ripoff, and it even references Groundhog Day in the movie. Like, she's telling what's happening to someone, and the guy goes, "It sounds a little bit like Groundhog Day." And she never saw the movie and goes, "Who's Bill Murray?" And then, I wish he just killed her, but he didn't do that. But yeah, like it was more of like, it's listed as a horror movie. It's not really that scary. It's more like just fun horror, like a comedy horror type thing. I think the first half of the movie is a lot better than the second half, but I was surprised at how enjoyable this movie was. That's cool. Happy Death Day. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah. And I also saw The Post, the Steven Spielberg movie, which I liked a lot because it's Steven Spielberg. It's about the publishing of the Pentagon Papers at the Washington Post. And this movie, Matt loves journalism a lot.
Is this a new movie? Is this in theaters?
Yeah, it's in theaters right now. Yeah.
Cool.
It loves journalism. It loves newspapers. It loves the creation of newspapers. Steven Spielberg shoots the printing press as if it is God incarnate. Like like the way he shoots the creation of newspapers is like worshiping. Like, he's worshiping these things, and it's really beautiful. Like, it's Spielberg at the top of his game as far as directing. Tom Hanks is really good. Meryl Streep is great, of course. The movie feels a little rushed because Steven Spielberg read the script in March, and the movie was released in November, which is an insane turnaround. But it's a very good film. It's worth seeing, and it's very timely. Like, it is designed to be timely. The reason he rushed it is because it is a movie that is about the Pentagon Papers and the publishing of those, but is basically about Donald Trump's war on the press. And that's it. It's very thinly veiled metaphor there.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm not sure if I can say that I'll make it to the theater, but I do want to see that at some point.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for what we've been watching, and that's it for the show. We went really long this time, Matt, but I think we always do that on these preview episodes because there's just so many movies to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's all we had for you guys week. If you have I can't talk anymore. It's gone. That's all we had for you guys this week. If you have any questions or comments, or just want to reach out to us, you can do that via email at dailyplanetfilms@gmail.com or on Twitter @dailyplanetfilms.
Yeah, and if you're not already subscribed to this podcast, we encourage you to do so and ensure you never miss an episode. You can find us online on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, and pretty much anywhere else in the world you can find podcasts. And by the way, might want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're anywhere near YouTube, because YouTube's changing their policies and just helps us out.
Yeah,
just go ahead and subscribe.
That's one of the things we're saying on all our podcasts this week, that even if you don't listen on YouTube, if you could go over to youtube.com/dailyplanetfilms and just hit that subscribe button, it would really help us. We have enough monthly hours listens, right?
Yeah.
We just don't have enough arbitrary number of subscribers under their new policy to stay a partner.
Yeah, and we know that enough of you listen to put us over that line.
Yeah.
You just don't listen on YouTube, which is fine, but it would help if you would go click over there.
Yeah. And if you like this show and any of the other shows we do here, you can also consider becoming a patron of the Daily Planet. You can pledge $1 a month or whatever else you can afford to help ensure we keep growing and keep making new content. There's a bunch of patron exclusive content as well. I think we're going to be making some changes to some of that in the near future as well. So it's a very exciting time, and it's the perfect time to become a patron. So check us out at patreon.com/dailyplanetfilms. That's DALY.
That's right. Also, please consider rating and reviewing us on iTunes. Every review helps us get more exposure and introduces new people to how awesome we are.
Well, that's all we got for you guys this week. We will be back next week. I will be back with Michael to do our first review episode of the year. We're going to be talking about Maze Runner: The Death Cure. I really need to go watch those movies so I can remember what they're about. But we will see you then.
Podcast is over. It's done. We hope you all just go away. But please come back next Friday.